Hey, thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about the Miami-Dade County's home collection program for chemicals. And I'm Michael Miller. Our guest today is Frank Calderon. Frank, so tell us about the home chemical collection program.
Sure. We have two centers where people can bring in items, home chemical items that you can't get rid of in your regular garbage, and you definitely don't put in the recycling. Stuff like old pesticides, old paints, old batteries, certain batteries. And we can get into that later. Old electronics, stuff like that.
So they can load it into the trunk of the car, take it over where there's centers.
There's one in Doral. I don't know the address off the top of my head. And there's one South Dade, right by the South Dade landfill. Or it's actually on the same campus as the
So I understand the county also has a program where you can go to one of the sites and pick up other chemicals that have not been discarded. So how do they, that means the county goes through them, or what do? You shake the can to see what's in it?
If it looks like it's in good shape, they make it available to residents, on a first come, first served basis. You have to be a Miami-Dade resident. And the other thing also, of course, you take it at your own risk. But yeah, if it's items that are in good condition, my understanding, I was told a while back, I don't know if this is still true, for example, if they have the chlorine tablets for pools, those are a hot item. If they have them available, people come and grab those like right away. Those,
because they figure what could go bad.
Yeah, with chlorine, yeah. So there's paints and different items that they'll make available if they're in good shape to people when they come by.
Do you is it like a warehouse that's filled, you go up on racks and you go, I want this?
No, it's more like a chicken mesh or chicken wire type locker that they have, and you can look at it and say, oh, I'd like maybe they have a spray paint. Oh, it's in blue. Perfect. That's what I needed for my boat or whatever. Can I have that? Sure. Okay.
Now that you brought up about spray paint and things, so what are people supposed to do with spray cans, stuff that used to be in it, whether it's spray paint or starch or Clorox or whatever?
If it's empty, spray cans can go in the garbage. They should not go in recycling because they're pressurized and it's different. It's not the same thing as a normal can, like a food can or drink can. So yeah.
So if somebody's got, and I'm glad you brought that up, some old bunch of paint cans. You look around. I was looking around in our warehouse yesterday, and I'm going, look at all these. We haven't used that paint in 10 years, right? And there's 1 gallon cans, 5 gallon, and probably 10 or 15 different of the pints, the samples that we used or didn't. What do we do with them?
Well, for residential, we'll take them at our center. If the paint's still, if it's still liquid, you can donate them as well. That's another option. If it's dry, completely dry, you can throw it in the garbage. Typically, if it's a small amount, you leave the lid off and just let it dry, and then you can throw it in the garbage. But otherwise, you can bring it to our center or see if an organization, nonprofit needs them or can use the paint.
Okay, generally speaking, what do we do with batteries? Because it seems like, the whole world seems to be on batteries.
Well, batteries can be a little bit confusing. If they're the typical disposable, the type you put in a flashlight or a small, who has a small transistor radio nowadays? I don't know anybody who does, but
you might do.
Maybe, yeah. If they're basically AA. Well, they can be used in electronics too, like a video gaming controller. AA, AAA, C, D, those can be thrown, and they're the Duracell, Energizer, whatever, those can be thrown in the garbage. If they're rechargeable, if it's a button type battery, or if it says lithium on it, absolutely cannot go in the garbage, especially lithium. Lithium can, or even recycling. Lithium can cause fires. It should be taken to one of our centers.
Okay. So currently, what happens to car batteries that have lived their life? Not on the electric vehicles, not the other batteries. What happens to this battery that's almost the size of this table?
They can bring it to one of our centers, one of the two home chemical collection centers. If the centers are not convenient, we have events going on, by the way, through the end of the year. We have 7 more events left that are at the local TRCs and maybe a little bit more convenient. You could also check. I always tell people, always check first. Check with the local auto parts store and see if they're willing to take an old battery, a car battery you can't use. My understanding is, I don't know, but it's lead acid. I don't know what they do with the acid part, but the lead can be recycled.
So, Frank, I think I saw on Facebook, or maybe it was on YouTube, some event that you had the last couple of days. Are you familiar with that one? No. I forget where it was.
Remember.
I think it was. Well, anyway,
we have a home chemical event coming up later this month.
Maybe that was
the next one is July. I don't think we would have had one 4th of July weekend, but the next one I believe is July 29th, towards the end of the month. I don't remember exactly the date.
Where's that going to be?
That one, you know, I looked it up and now I can't remember. I think it's down south. I think it's at home, the Moody Drive, which is down the farthest, the TRC we have that's farthest south. I should note that we have 7 left on the schedule, and they're in different locations. Check our website, MiamiDade.gov/solid waste. The news releases. Look for the news release on the home chemical mobile events, and that'll give you the list of the remaining events that we have. I know the last one is going to be the Saturday before Thanksgiving, because I actually checked that as well, and that one's going to be at the closest to my house, the Sunset Kendall TRC. But they're all over the place.
I think that ad was for used oil for people's cars, right?
Possibly.
So tell us. So if you're a home mechanic, and I have some friends, I don't know, $4 million house, he wants to change that oil in his truck. Okay, God bless you. All right. What's supposed to happen to it?
All right, don't pour it in the drain. Don't pour it down on the grass. That's what shouldn't happen to it. It should be disposed of properly, which when it is, they typically recycle it. It can be brought to our 2 home chemical collection centers, or if you're like me, you can wait for one of the events that's convenient to you, take it there. Or we also have, if you are a customer, if you receive garbage service from us, several TRCs that on a daily basis, they accept used motor oil. Another option, again, don't assume, check first the local auto parts store. They might take it, check first though. Check first, make sure.
So the TRCs, that stands for
Trash and Recycling Center. Not all of them take used motor oil. The list is on our website, MiamiDade.gov/solid waste. Some of them do. We're trying to expand that. We've actually expanded it over the last few years. We only had a small handful, and the numbers increase. And off the top of my head, I don't know how many of them have except used motor oil now, but it's more than we had in the past. So check, and I think we're actually looking to open a couple more this year. So
the same thing can happen as far as your old gasoline. Let's say you used to mow the yard, all right, and you got half a gallon left. You can take the red can along with the oil and the other things. Say, here you are.
Yes, you can either take it to home chemical, or you can wait for one of the events near whichever one's closest to your house. If you're like me, that's what I do now. I wait for one. I have stuff. My son just the other day, he and I both love to play video games. His controller, his gaming controller, he had a very fancy, expensive gaming controller he got for Christmas several years ago, broke. So he can't use it anymore. So he's about to throw it on the garbage. And no, give it to me. I keep a little box aside for stuff, and then the next one right before Thanksgiving is going to be nearest our house, Sunset Kendall TRC. The next event, the home chemical mobile event, I'm going to take it there with some other stuff that I have.
And so what do we do when people, we have those little pumpers go kill the weeds, we have it around the yard, and then either maybe you're not doing it anymore, you still have some stuff that you want to get rid of. Same thing, with the same place, the oil and the gas and the pesticides can all go to the same place.
Well, with stuff like, say, like a weed eater or a lawnmower, that can actually go in garbage, bulky, or you can bring it to TRC.
Okay.
However, you should remove any fluids, gas, or any oil that may be in the engine.
So this is something that needs to get into the conscious awareness of people, and then so it becomes subconscious. It's just there that you don't have to think about it. This is just how we do, how we do that. I did notice that the company Amazon has these different type of plastic bags, different than the
Yes.
Glad bags. They have a green product. I didn't read what it was, but it sure seems like they're sending a message, which are these are better for the environment. So I tried it out. All right, I'll give you my report in a week or so to see if when I'm carrying out whether it falls apart.
Well, you're talking about that's funny. I go to Walmart every once in a while to get household supplies, and one time I went and they had plastic bags that were supposed to be biodegradable. And I usually get the garbage bags for the garbage. Those we want the sturdy ones because I live in a condo. It's a long walk. I don't want it falling apart on me. But I get another type of, usually the cheapest ones I can find for our laundry to take it to the laundromat. Well, I found these and they were the cheapest ones, ironically. So I used that and they work fine. I mean, I loaded them with when I go there, they weigh like 20, 30 pounds of laundry easily, no problem. The bag's held up, and they say that they're biodegradable. I hope they really are. But the next time whenever I see them, I get those.
Well, my wife's been out of town, so I took the liberty of ordering those bags. So I hope they work, or else I know what's coming. As you do as well.
Yes.
Okay. And again, so people can find out more. Again, give us the website address.
MiamiDade.gov/solid waste. That's our general homepage for all kinds of information. We do on home chemical collection have a URL that'll take you directly to those pages. MiamiDade.gov/home chemicals with an S. I tried it last night without the S and it didn't work. With the S, home chemicals plural. But you can go to MiamiDade.gov/solid waste and just find everything there.
So far, this is July 8th, I think, today. So
Yes.
far, there have been 2 hurricanes, one hitting Texas today. The other one hits, I forget what.
The other one I don't know what happened with that one.
So, but we're going to get our share of something. We just don't know what it is. So what should people do in anticipation of limbs falling?
Well, just funny that you asked, because I was looking, my wife has family. My wife is half Jamaican, so she has family in Jamaica. So I was, we were all a little bit concerned with Hurricane Beryl. And I decided this morning I'd take a look, and I noticed that on NOAA's National Hurricane Center, the only active storm right now is Beryl. So nothing else is, even in the Pacific, there's nothing else. Just that's the only active storm in the world, or tropical or worse storm. So we always tell people, do it before hurricane season. Obviously, we're in the middle of hurricane season now. There may still be time now if you have a tree that has a limb that's precarious and kind of in bad shape and might fall and damage your property in some way. This is the time to do it. Do it now. And you've got the bulky pickup that you can call for. There should still be appointments out a reasonable amount of time in advance. If you wait till something starts forming and starts potentially threatening us down here, what's going to happen is you're going to find the dates are all going to fill up, and then you're going to find the only thing available is dates after whatever is supposed to hit may hit. You don't want that.
On one of those storms a couple of years ago, we had 6 pretty big trees like this that fell. They just missed the house, and they realized that the roots couldn't get into the ground. So there was not enough supporting, because these were, you see these type of trees everywhere. So we should know that if they aren't real down on the ground, they're going to fall, all right? And they're going to fall on your house, all right? Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of grief. And I do want to give a shout out to a friend of mine who I helped raise. So he's an adult, and when those trees went down, he just showed up at my house with a chainsaw and spent 3 days there. And I thanked him. He said, "You're welcome." And he took it away and left it. It was like still years. It's been a couple of years, and it really takes a community to do that. Because when I looked at all those trees just lined up, I'm not glad they fell, but I'm glad they didn't hit the house, right? Because it would have caused gigantic damage. So people really need to look at their limbs. Where are they? If they just go straight down, forget about blowing around. It's hard to control that. But if it goes straight down, what's it going to hit?
Yeah, if it's non-native, it tends to not weather the storms as well. I'm gonna guess at least were any of those trees like really big and like had these little black fruit that fall? Yeah. Black olives. Those are notorious for having shallow roots, and when they get big enough and a storm is strong enough, knocks them down. And
also because it's so thick up there that it resists the wind.
They provide nice shade, except you don't want to park your car directly under them because the little black olives can damage your paint. But otherwise, they're great for shade.
Our guy that does our cars, they're non-native. He says all this stuff is from those trees.
Yeah, and they're non-native, and even the leaves from those trees can cause discoloration of your paint. But beyond that, they're non-native, and the roots are just very shallow on those trees. They have a tendency to fall over when there's a storm.
Yes. And so people can either call 311 or they could go to MiamiDade.gov/solid waste.
Yes.
And you go under bulky waste. You put in your address there, it'll tell you how many pickups you have.
And then you can see the dates available. That's
and
important,
the dates,
especially now.
And if people have never done it before, I can promise you, folks, it's really easy to do it, because if we figured it out, just about anybody can. And it's really simple to do it. And they give you 3 locations where you can leave it, and they ask you to describe it. again, when I do it, I take a picture of it in case somebody starts dumping stuff. So if your pile of stuff is growing, all right, and it may get over the limit, if you have some pictures and data, you may get off the hook if somebody's dumping them.
Yeah, well, the advice we have is immediately, as soon as you notice that somebody's dumped illegally on your pile, call 311 to report it. That way you don't get, dinged for it.
And because somebody could put white products, refrigerators, freezers out there
that you didn't declare, and
yeah,
it can cause problems.
And again, so people need to pick a date before they put it out, right? Because otherwise, the
from the dates that are available,
right? And the inspector may say you didn't get approved. We're going to give you a notice or citation.
They give you 3 days before that. You can set it out 3 days before your actual pickup date.
And they pick it. Do they? What's the time frame on that? From once you have a date? Oh,
it depends on how, if there's a lot of demand, the dates might be out far. But once they give you a date, they'll pick it up on that. Unless they're like super swamped or busy and they can't get it out, then they'll come the next day generally. But for the most part, if you pick a date, it's going to be picked up on that date.
And not that I was waiting for them, but I was waiting for them when they came out to my house. I looked at them that afternoon. There they are. My experience was wonderful. I probably had a half a dozen times in as many years. Very happy with that. And the neighbors are happy because they see we're cleaning up, and it does catch on, all right? And so people right now, there's still space that people can go. They can set a date. You can set it out pretty far in advance, or the soonest you can do it, they'll let you know. Yeah. And then that's when you can speak to your guy and have it put it out.
And you can either do it you can call 311 for it or check our website. And I don't think from what I understand, there's no gaming. You can't, like, one is faster than the other, or the dates they both see the same amount, same dates. Once the date is gone, that's it.
So if somebody's having construction work done at their house and they know there's going to be a lot of destruction, to take apart, what precautions should they take away with their deal with their contractor?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, if they have a contractor, I'm glad you mentioned that. And the contractor agrees to remove any waste material and dispose of it properly, make sure that's written in anything you sign with them, and hang on to it, because we have had situations in the past where contractors come to do work on people's property, and then they promise they're going to take it and dispose of it in the correct way, and what they end up doing is illegally dumping it. Something was found there to clue in the enforcement, the waste enforcement officer, that the waste came from a certain property. They went back to that property. They said, okay, we found this, waste material out, thrown, illegally dumped, and we know it's from your property. The homeowner came out and said, well, look, I have this contract. I had a contractor that did the work, and they said that they dispose of it. They're off the hook. Now they go after the contractor.
And it's good business sense when you do that prior to them starting, so they know, we're looking out for that. We had some tiles taken. It was a couple thousand square feet. It needs to be in there. I don't want my tile, my name.
Oh yeah, and then they come back to you
on the back of it somewhere,
and you have nothing to prove, and then they blame you for it, and you get stuck with a fine.
Okay, so right now, is the county looking for any waste truck drivers that you're aware of?
I didn't check the employment ads for this week, so I don't know if they advertised it this week or not. I know that in general they need drivers. I think the system, by the way, if you're looking for a job with the county, it's any job, not just that, miamidade.gov/jobs. And then if you're looking for, it's the official title is waste truck driver operator. So you can look that up. If I'm not mistaken, you can go in the system, fill out an application or put in your resume, upload it to the system, and they'll just keep it. And then, there's a way where you can, like, when a job appears, I want to apply for it automatically. I believe you can do that in advance. If not, my suggestion to people who are interested is check every couple of weeks or so. Once the announcement is made, boom, you can apply.
So on July 4th, there was no garbage pickup?
Correct.
And when I was driving down my street, I knew it. I said, they don't know that, but another piece of information.
Yep.
And so for the people that was Thursday, right? So
correct.
Today is Monday.
Today's Monday, so today they would be picked up.
Right. And so some of the people, I saw that they put it back inside, all right? And then so it's back on a regular schedule.
Yes.
Right now. recycling is how often on recycling do we pick up?
Every 2 weeks, and they did not take the July 4th. That's where people sometimes get confused. They only take Christmas on the recycling side. Part of the reason is it's every 2 weeks, and if they miss you once, then you go a whole month basically without pickup. So that's part of the reason they don't do that. And even for Christmas, if your recycling day falls on whenever Christmas Day is, they typically have a makeup day the following Saturday. But again, only for the recycling. We
got a couple of minutes left. Well, let's talk about the website. What information can people get in MiamiDade.gov?
MiamiDade.gov, all county information. If they go to MiamiDade.gov/solid waste, information about our department, the different services we provide, the different facilities we have, and their locations.
There's some videos on there.
We have videos on there. Some of the videos show some of them are a little bit old, but some of them show the process on recycling, for example. And to dispel the myth that our recycling just goes to garbage, it never has. And when you get a bad cart, yes. When the cart is filled with stuff that shouldn't be recycled, that cart, yes. But for the most part, our recycling, it gets recycled.
So,
stuff that you bring
to
a
grandparent can take their grandkids on and say, "Here, let's talk about recycling."
Yes, and show them the video. And it's actually a 2-part video.
Okay.
On the recycling.
All right. Well, we wish you well. We still have 6 weeks before school's back in session. All right. Or
Only
so.
6. Wow.
Right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Basically.
And then
wow.
we go, okay. And then before we know it, it's Halloween,
the holidays and all that. Yeah.
So Frank Calderon from Miami-Dade Solid Waste Department. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Michael.
Rachel, thank you for producing the show. Again, folks, take care of yourselves and your families. Have a good day.